Alright, welcome everyone. We're back, and we're starting Group B today. I, of course, am Niz, and we're casting the Dota 2 Canada Cup. Like I said, we're in Group B. Last 2 days we covered Group A. And, well, we saw Summoner's Rift and Leviathan move on. Summoner's Rift, of course, the team that won the Canada Cup last season. And we're going to see, not only in this game, but throughout Group B, the team that came second place, the team that lost to Summoner's Rift in the finals, and that's going to be Wheel Wreck While Whistling. So they're going to be starting off in this game. They're going to be going up against Boreal eSports. Now they've changed rosters quite a bit, and I'll get into their current roster in just a second. But the other two teams that we've got playing in the group are going to be Black Sheep and Root Gaming. We're not going to see Root play tonight. The 3 games that Root's going to play are all going to happen tomorrow night. So we're just going to see Wheel, Boreal, and Black Sheep tonight, and them playing all their games against each other. So we got that to look forward to. But we won't have any idea of what Root's capable of until tomorrow. So that's when we'll really figure out exactly everything that's going on with the group. So it should make things exciting. But as for this game, we've got Wheel Wreck, which they've been playing with IX Mike recently, and he's been listed as a stand-in. And I mean, most of their rosters are listed as a stand-in right now, but he's been listed as a stand-in for most of those games. But I think he's actually on their roster now. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I believe that to be the case. He would be replacing Talera, who was on the roster before. As for Boreal, they've gone through a lot of different roster changes. You know, I think back to when I was playing, that was Footsie's team and 747, and then it changed to the other iteration of, you know, Dewey, 747, Tiburon, Schwan, stuff like that. And now it's this newer roster, which is featuring Angry Testy, KVH, Pizza Dad, Jeppins, and Penguin, or PQ as he's going by in this game.
Reserve time.
So we've got some good stuff to look forward to. As for how these teams did last time, like I said, Wheel got to the finals where they lost 3-1 to Summoner's Rift. They finished 3-0 in their group, so they perfected the group stages last time around. Boreal actually finished 2-1 in the group stages, so they finished second. And they were in an interesting group. They were in a group with Summoner's Rift, which of course finished first in that group. Boreal finished second. Third in that group was Pain, and then fourth was a team that we're going to see a little bit later, which is Black Sheep. So a lot of rematches coming from last Canada Cup, but that's not where it ends. Boreal played Wheel in the first round of the playoffs, and they lost 2-0 to Wheel, but maybe a little bit of rivalry brewing here, so it should be interesting. These guys know each other, and they play against you quite often, so we've got that to look forward to, and they're at least going to know a little bit about each other. And wow, I need to catch up in this draft because we just saw Bloodseeker get picked. So we've got Troll, Jug, Lena, and SF getting banned out by Boreal. Storm Spirit, Sniper, Clock, and Night Stalker were the picks for Wheel. The bans. Lion, Queen of Pain, Slark, and Axe for Boreal were the picks. Vengeful Spirit, Batrider, Skywrath, and Bloodseeker for Wheel. And that's really interesting. So the Vengeful Spirit and Batrider opening, pretty standard. Lion, Queen of Pain, once again, pretty standard. No surprises there. Maybe, yeah, no real surprises. Maybe the only surprise is the fact that Wheel actually banned out Clockwork, because that's pretty much one of IX Mike's strongest heroes in the offlane, but they had already picked up the Batrider, so that makes sense. Skywrath Mage paired with Venge, pretty standard. That's a good support duo. Gives you that range of initiation with Concussive Blast or Concussive Shot. Yeah, Concussive Shot, which it helps the Vengeful Spirit get in range to throw that Magic Missile. Magic Missile doesn't have the longest range. Certainly doesn't give you the range like a Fissure would or something like that in terms of a disable, but it allows the Vengeful Spirit to get in close, and it also allows a Batrider to get in close too sometimes. So that'll help, and it gives you good synergy, as well as it gives you a good solid burst damage to lay down once the magic missile's gone out, or even maybe the Bat Rider lasso. He just lassos, pulls the hero back a little bit, and then just stops and just leaves it there in the middle of that Mystic Flare. But then we get Bloodseeker, which, when you look at it, synergizes quite well with the Skywrath Mage, because you rupture the target, it can't move, or if it's going to move, it's going to take a lot of damage. And if it doesn't move, it's going to be standing in a Mystic Flare from the Skywrath Mage. So really valuable there. And on top of that, you rupture a target and Bat Rider lassos it and starts pulling it all over the place, and it's taking a bunch of damage from rupture. So they've got synergies in 2 different ways there. So that's really interesting that they chose to pick up the Bloodseeker. We haven't really seen it get played all too much, so it may just kind of fall flat on its face, but Wheel's picking it, so we can assume that they really know what they're doing with it, and this is probably not the first time they've experimented with it. As for Boreal's lineup, like I said, Lion and Queen of Pain, nothing too surprising. Slark, I believe they love playing Slark. They play him quite often, so no real surprise there. As for Axe, he's just a strong, beefy offlaner. So, I mean, he's always a solid pick, no matter what your lineup is. Unless you're maybe a little too greedy and you have to rely on your offlaner to be a little bit more active early on, which sometimes Axe can struggle with if he really is up against a hard tri-lane. Which it looks like he's probably going to be up against this game, but he may just actually abandon to the jungle. So look for Lion and whoever the additional support that Boreal chooses to go with to do a bunch of stacking. But as for how our lanes currently sit up, probably going to be Queen of Pain in the mid lane, although she could support. Lion and Slark going to be in the safe lane, and Axe most likely going to be in the off lane. There is, like I said, a little bit of variation there. Queen of Pain could be a support. Axe could potentially be run as a position 4 sitting in the jungle, and then they pick another off laner. That would be a little greedy, and I don't think that's going to be what they're going to want to go with up against a Bat Rider and Bloodseeker, and also a Zeus now too, as those are 3 heroes that really snowball hard, and they're going to punish greed. So you don't want to be too greedy, and at the same time you don't want to be too squishy. You don't want to be a hero that can get picked off fairly easily. So expect Boreal to pick up a hero that's maybe a little bit tankier. Yeah, there we go. But is also going to give them a little bit of lockdown. That's exactly what the Spirit Breaker is going to do. It's also some good counter gank as well. But what's actually underestimated is the fact that you can just use charge when you get vision of a hero like a Bat Rider or a Bloodseeker or even a Zeus that's making a rotation, and you don't have to follow through with the charge, but it just gives you vision of that hero making the rotation, and so you get a brief idea of exactly where he's going as he's transitioning from one lane to somewhere else on the map. So you just charge for a couple seconds, you have vision, and frankly the team's the enemies don't actually know that you've got that extra little bit of vision, because, well, they're assuming you don't have a ward in that area, but it's not a ward giving you the vision, it's the Spirit Breaker charge. But we're already in this one, and, well, it's a competitive game, so we gotta pause immediately. I should say that I am not the official stream for the Dota 2 Canada Cups. You can go check that out on twitch.tv/Dota2 Canada Cup. You should also check them out at dota2.ca and also buy their in-game tickets, $8.99. 12.5% of that goes towards the prize pool, and it'll also get a pretty sick Sven set as well. So definitely go check that out and support the tournament and support the teams. But we've got a game to cover, so let's introduce the teams and the players. On the Radiant side, we have Team Wheel Wreck While Whistling. I'm probably just going to call them Wheel all game long, as that's what I'm used to calling them, and it's a little bit of a tongue twister, so we're going to go with Wheel. But we've got Derp Derp playing on the Vengeful Spirit. IX Mike is going to be on the Bat Rider. Relic is going to be in the mid lane on that Zeus. Sleazel is going to be on the Bloodseeker. And Goody is going to be on the Skywrath Mage. For the Dire side, we have Team Boreal eSports. Playing their line is going to be Pizza Dad 37. KVH is going to be on the Slark. Angry Testy is going to be playing the Queen of Pain.
30 seconds to battle.
PQ is going to be playing the Spirit Breaker. And Jeppins is going to be on the Axe. Now, if you don't know who Angry Testy is, well, apparently he didn't follow any StarCraft 2 or any StarCraft 1, or I guess he played a little bit of 2, I think, as well. But he also played Han as well, so you probably recognize that name. Maybe not so much from what he's done in Dota 2, but yeah, he's been around for quite some time, so
The battle begins.
it'd be interesting to see what he can do, as he's been playing a lot more Dota recently.
Well, that would be
Worthy tribute.
As for interesting
Radiant
starting items,
structures are
nothing too
fortified.
interesting. We've got boots first on your typical heroes, Spirit Breaker, Skywrath Mage, maybe not so typical, and Bat Rider. Beyond that, we've got a smoke on the Vengeful Spirit. As for our lanes, it looks pretty standard, what to be expected. We got Zeus going up against the Queen of Pain in the mid lane. Up in the top lane, it is the Slark, Spirit Breaker, and eventually the Lion. So that's going to be the defensive tri-lane. But notice there's no hero up here. Ix Mike already abandoned the off lane. He realized he's not going to get much in that lane. As I mentioned in the draft, it's going to be a little bit difficult for him. So he's doing a little bit of jungling right off the bat. In the bottom lane, we've got the off lane Axe going up against the Bloodseeker and the Skywrath Mage. And looks like Derp Derp on the Vengeful Spirit is going to be doing a bunch of stacking and pulling for the Bat Rider. And that's going to allow him to really accelerate his farm. Bat Rider can actually stack all these camps at once in the Radiant Jungle, but it does cost him his Firefly, which means he's not able to clear the camp here in this timing. So just a little help from the support can actually accelerate Bat Rider's farm quite a bit. But that's not the way that you typically do it in a pub, because, well, you can't rely on your supports to be doing the stackings and everything at the right time. Some people will be nice and help you out, but we're going to see, of course, that level of coordination happen this game. As for how these lanes should go, obviously we're going to get free farm up here on the Slark, but that's going to free up not just the Spirit Breaker to be charging around, but also the Lion to make some rotations as well. We may actually just see the Lion do a lot of stacking and pulling and just the Spirit Breaker apply pressure. But it's actually, they may just choose to go up here for a fast tier 1 tower push and try and force Ix Mike to come back up there on the Bat Rider. But I don't know, this tower's taking quite a bit of damage, and I don't think Ix Mike's going to want to go up there just yet. He's going to want to get a few levels under his belt and a little bit of farm. As for the mid lane, it's pretty much going to be a wash. It's going to be fairly even. Maybe Zeus has a slight advantage early on because he can just constantly bolt. But we are going to see a charge here coming up from PQ. Relic's going to get way back to his tower, so PQ is going to have to... I was going to say he's going to have to cancel it, but he did go through with it. But in the end, he actually took the most damage out of that. But like I was saying, Relic's going to be able to get a little bit more CS using the Arc Lightning to CS. And that means Angry Testy's not going to be able to contest with his auto attacks and get those denies. So it's pretty much guaranteed CS for Relic unless he really butchers the timing. But that's pretty hard to do on Zeus, especially when you get a second point in Arc Lightning. As for the Queen of Pain, when she's able to get a little bit of harassment with the Shadow Strike, that's going to hurt Zeus quite a bit, and he's going to need to keep bottle ferrying, but that's something Zeus does. He's used to spamming, so he needs that to replenish his mana pool. So taking a little bit of HP damage isn't the worst. But he does need to make sure that his HP pool stays up as they approach level 6. You see they just hit level 5. Queen of Pain about to hit level 5 with that creep. There we go. So once she hits 6, of course, Sonic Wave makes it very, very scary. But at the same time, Angry Testy needs to be careful as well, because there's a lot of burst damage that can come out from that Zeus. So expect a lot of harass to come out in that lane and HP pools to not be full, but also expect those players to play and try and keep their HP pools full. So it should be an interesting trade. Obviously, Sleazel's going to be free farming down here. I'm interested to see what kind of skill build he goes with. He's going to go 1-1-2 as he puts his 4th point into Thirst here. And Jeppins has abandoned the offlane, so he's gone back to his own jungle. So we've got no offlaners this game, just well, basically 3-1 and then a jungle on each team.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
Looks like we're going to see this tier 1 tower go down. Vengeful Spirit on her way up here, but she's not going to get up there in time. Tower's already going to go down. KVH is going to get the last hit. So a little bit of extra gold goes in his pocket. Looks like he's already bought his Hannah Midas recipe. As you always want to buy the recipe first, so that the time the courier spends, although he has to wait for it to get back, the time the courier spends flying over is time that you're going to you're going to be spending making up that 500 gold for your Gloves of Haste. So he can go pick up those Gloves of Haste now. And you can see the courier's already flying out with his Hand of Midas. It's not the biggest difference in time this game, but sometimes it's, you know, it's significant. Maybe it could be 30 seconds or so that you get your Hand of Midas a little bit faster. So just that little bit of min-maxing. As for mid CS, it's actually dead even now. Both heroes at 25 CS apiece. Angry Tessie managing to get a few more denies, and that's to be expected. Zeus really struggles with denying, but Angry Tessie's at 9 versus Relic's 2. Pizza Dad just sitting in here behind Angry Tessie. He knows that maybe a little bit of aggression applied, but if we take a look across the river, Goody's here as well. So both teams recognizing the fact that there's going to be a little bit of aggression coming out from these mid heroes, as both of them are 6. But the Boreal has spotted from their observer ward up here. They did spot Goody as he went up there and placed an observer ward of his own. They don't, however, know that Pizza Dad is here. But he'll be rotating away from the mid lane, or he's just going to stack the Ancient Camp. And then he might actually go back, or he might go bottom lane. Never mind, Jeppins is just going to stand down here and soak and make sure Sleazel doesn't get any free damage on the tower. Angry Tessie will bottle up an Illusion Rune. And everything going pretty standard, pretty quiet so far in this game, but I think that's where both teams are feeling pretty comfortable with it. They don't really have a reason to force the aggression just yet. We're probably going to see Wheel really pick up their pace going forward here as their team's really going to shine in that early to mid game transition. That's where they really need to start snowballing. Of course, Queen of Pain, one of those heroes that you really want to get some good kills under your belt, but there's lots of ways for Wheel to lock that down, so they're going to probably try to get a kill onto Queen of Pain early on and then start snowballing off that. As of course Bloodseeker, probably one of the biggest examples of a snowball hero. As well, if he's not snowballing, he's kind of dead weight most of the time. Batrider, one of those heroes that once he gets going as well, and Zeus. If he can get a little bit of a level advantage over his opponents, then the amount of burst damage that can come out from Zeus is unreal. So look for someone like Pizza Dad on the Lion to be, well, maybe just a little bit too squishy and to take a little bit of that burst damage and maybe take a fall here or there, if, of course, Relic manages to get a little bit ahead. And when I mean a little bit ahead, right now, getting those extra levels isn't really going to do much. He's already hit 7, so he's got the Lightning Bolt, but the timing is when he hits 11 and he gets that next level of Thunder God's Wrath, and then he's going to have a little bit of items as well to support the amount of spam that's going to be coming out from him. One of the great things about Zeus is the fact that, although he hasn't skilled it yet, but he will be skilling it, he's going to leave Arc Lightning at 2, is that Static Field makes it so Zeus actually scales incredibly well. That's every single time you cast, they lose a percentage of their current health, and it goes all the way up to 11%. And you take a look at some of these cooldowns. Lightning Bolt, 6-second cooldown. Of course, you're going to use Thunder God's Wrath in a team fight, so the 90 seconds doesn't matter. It's going to be one cast there. But you've got Arc Lightning at 1.75 second cast, and you're just going to be spamming that thing. Throughout the team fights, you're going to be bolting every 6 seconds, you're going to be Arc Lightning every 1.75. That's a lot of casts going off in a team fight. And Arc Lightning, mana cost, it's going to be 80 at max rank, but it's going to be 70 for the vast majority of the game. So it's very, very spammable. Zeus only right now has 468 mana, but his mana actually picks up fairly quickly. I'm actually wondering what his int game is. It's at 2.7 per level. So that on top of the typical items that he's going to build is going to really bolster his mana pool and allow him to constantly spam. Well, we got to resume here, and we're going to get right back to it, as we still haven't seen First Blood. But like I said, both teams taking it very safe, very cautiously. As well,
First Blood.
Does that count as us seeing it? Kind of, maybe. Oh my God! I was so upset. I was so upset about missing or potentially missing that first blood onto the Vengeful Spirit in the top lane, that I also missed a kill in the mid lane. The Queen of Pain went down, and on top of that, the Axe went down in the jungle as well. I believe he... oh no, he didn't buy out. That was actually just a mistake from the Axe. So just like that, we lose 3 heroes. I basically catch none of them on the camera, so big apologies coming out from me there.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
The Angry Tessie will TP on into the mid lane, jump in and immediately scream, but then he'll just go up, bottle up an Invis-Rune, and maybe he'll look to do something with this, as he does have a Sonic Wave available, and certainly after just losing his life in the mid lane, he's going to want to get something going for him. We have a charge going into the bottom lane, but the tier 1 tower has already gone down, but Pizza Dad has TP'd, but PQ will not continue that charge. It sounded like he actually did charge, so maybe he was on a creep and not on the Slark. It looked like he was on the Slark, but my eyes must be playing tricks on me there. As we do see a rotation coming up here in the top lane from Wheel, as Mike's going to jump on to KVH, and there's that combo I was talking about, the lasso keeping them in place for the Mystic Flare to do a ton of damage. That was a smoke gank, but also the first gank with the Blink Dagger on the Bat Rider. So good rotation there coming out from Wheel, getting good value kill on that free farming Slark. So far, things going Wheel favored, as they've managed to get those 3 kills already. I guess 1 doesn't count, right? Does 1... They didn't really get the kill against the Axe in the jungle. It's actually kind of surprising that they even do count that towards the team. As I guess it's a death on the side of Boreal, but it's not really a kill for Wheel, as they didn't really get anything for it. Either way, we got Pizza Dad once again sitting in the mid lane. I believe they should have had vision of him at one moment there, maybe not. Maybe he didn't get close enough. He was really close to that mark. Maybe they don't know he's there. Either way, he's going to rotate away now and make his way kind of up here. Just going to do a little bit of warding with the Observer Ward. No, actually, just some stacking. As Derp's going to be countering his Observer Ward. We've seen a real battle between the two teams over this kind of raised portion by the Ancients, and that's constantly going to get counter-warded up, because that's a really valuable ward right now. Not only does it give you vision of this top rune, but it's also going to give you quite a bit of vision of these 2 paths, well, like all these paths really, that are going to lead to and from the mid lane, and that's going to be a very common place for ganks to pass through, as we see Spirit Breaker go down in the bottom lane, as Sleazel and Mike getting another kill. Lasso wasn't used there, but Rupture was. So Mike still has the lasso available to him, but he is going to want to wait until Firefly's back up. And the unfortunate thing about the Bat Rider is you really struggle with mana early on. There was kind of an old build where you'd start with a bottle if you're going to start off in the jungle. Mike not electing to go with that, as I think that's overall actually slower now. That people have kind of refined how you jungle on that hero. But we're going to get a Hand of Midas purchased by Relic. He's already got his Arcane Boots, his Soul Ring, and his bottle. So he's going to be able to scale a little bit there. As how the heck am I missing all these kills? I need to wake up. as that's going to allow him to get a little bit of XP and a little bit of gold while he's moving around, kind of just bullying people with his lightning and getting those pickoffs. And that's one of the things that I think a lot of people misunderstand, as we could see action here. As Mike's going to jump in, get the lasso once again into a Mystic Flare. So they're going to get the kill onto KVH, really putting the pressure onto that Slark. PQ once again charging but cancelling. But the point I was making there about the Hand of Midas is that's one of the things that people actually underestimate about Hand of Midas. They think of it more so as just a constant farming item and a way to accelerate your farm, and that's definitely what it does. It accelerates your farm, but you don't have to just get it and then sit in the jungle or sit in the lane and farm. You can get it when you're moving around, making things happen on the map, and when you're doing that, that means you're not spending that time farming. So if you don't have something like a Hand of Midas to accelerate your farm or keep your farm going, you can quickly fall behind in not only gold but XP as well if maybe a gank or two don't go your way. So it's one of those kind of investments to keep you scaling throughout the game. The downside to that is, well, you're going to be moving around and you just spent over 2,000 gold on a Hand of Midas, which isn't really going to give you too much. But both teams are recognizing that this is going to be a quite passive game, as we're going to see Goody on the Skywrath Mage pick up a Hand of Midas as well. And when you see supports picking up a Hand of Midas and Zeus is picking up a Hand of Midas, you know that they're kind of in it for the long haul in this game, which is quite surprising considering Wheel's lineup. You wouldn't really expect them to be like, okay, yeah, we're perfectly fine with going late game, because most of their heroes seem to kind of excel and maybe peak in that mid game. And well, I'm not sure if they're really going to have the kind of scaling to go up against Boreal as this game goes on later. But obviously they've got a plan, so we're going to have to see how they're going to be able to execute it, as Slark should be the kind of champion of this game when it comes to skilling as we go to the late game. Mike popped the Firefly. He was looking for an opening there on Angry Testy, but unfortunately it didn't work out. And he was so close to jumping, and Angry Testy just kind of moved and stepped back for a second there. Mike hesitated, and because of that they unfortunately weren't able to go. So a little bit of a potential missed opportunity there, but obviously Mike hesitated for a reason. He thought maybe there was heroes behind it and just took the more safe route. Derp and Sleazel just kind of sitting here in the bottom lane, just doing a little bit of farming. And let's actually switch over to net worth and see how well that farming's worked out for him. As Sleazel's #1, 8,000 net worth. He is 1,400 ahead of the closest, which is actually Relic. And 2,800, 2,600, there we go. 2,600 ahead of the Slark. So those 2 kills that Wheel managed to get on KVH really helping Sleazel pull out ahead of KVH here in terms of net worth. And maybe that's how they're going to stop the Slark from just scaling so hard going on into this game. They keep that pressure on and just let their Bloodseeker get a little bit of a lead. I have a feeling that they may actually be waiting for a little bit of a timing here. I'm not really sure what that timing is, as the Bloodseeker's already finished his S and Y. We've got the Hand of Midas on Relic, so maybe they're waiting for something from him, but I don't know. I don't know what the timing is, if it's anything. Mike's gone with the Boots of Travel instead of the Force Staff. So, like I said, they're in this for the long haul. They're not really worried about picking up some of those kind of current value items. They're going to wait and give it a little bit of time, as they sense that this game's going to go late and they're already investing for it early on. KVH, however, going with the Blink Dagger to go with his Hand of Midas. So that'll help him potentially avoid ganks coming for him, but it's going to be tough when Mike comes jumping out of a smoke. But they won't find KVH this time around. Maybe Boreal will find something, as they've smoked up and they're going for these heroes in the top lane. They're going to initiate on Goody with a Blink taunt. Thunder God's Wrath's going to come out, but they're already going to get the kill. And now they're going to try to TP away. They get that kill on Spirit Breaker already. Lasso comes out onto Pizza Dad. That's going to be a double for Sleazel. And now we see Boreal, KVH, and Jeppins just kind of running away, as that looked like it was going to work out good for Boreal, but it was really good response coming out from Wheel. And they got, well, counter-ganked. They did lose their Skywrath Mage, but they got 2 for it. And definitely 1 support for 2 is a trade you'll take any day of the week. Mike taking maybe a little bit too aggressive of a route, going in here and farming up this jungle while his team was pushing that top tier 1 tower. But he needed to be careful there, because the Spirit Breaker was just respawning as well. He could have gotten a charge off, and he very easily could have just been locked down there. Sleazel making that rotation, once again walking through that area of the map. It's not warded right now, but the ward up by the top rune spotted it, but as well as Angry Testy, who's sitting here in Viz. He's scouted it out as well. And he's going to initiate on Sleazel and get the kill right there with the Sonic Wave. Good play by him. Good patience. Derp's going to walk into his death as well. Finger's going to come out from Pizza Dad, but KVH is going to get the kill on the Slark. Now, Boreal will probably look to push this tier 1 tower in the mid lane. And Wheel has to be careful here. It's very easy to get picked off again and then If you lose a hero now, you definitely have no way of defending this tier 1 tower. I think the tier 1's just going to lose maybe about half of its HP, maybe a little bit more, but they chose not to push it at all. So they're just going to take the ancient stack as well instead, and definitely the right decision. You don't have to commit to the tower. Once again, both teams recognizing that this is going to be a little bit more of a passive affair, and it's going to take a little bit while for this game to really take off. So what's the value in taking a tier 1 tower right now? It's more important to take down ancient stacks and take that farm from your opponent. Ix Mike still farming in the bottom lane. Goody's picked up a staff of wizardry. Be interesting to see if he's going for the 4 staff or the Yules. I think it's going to be 4 staff this game. Yeah, I think the 4 staff. It's going to be good value with a Bat Rider on your side. That way you can actually get the double 4 staff off. I missed a kill in the top lane. His PQ just took a fall to Sleazel and Derp.
Radiant's middle
KVH just popped up in the bottom lane. He's going to get initiated on by the lasso, but he will get the Dark Pact off in time, which of course cancels or dispels the lasso. So Ix Mike now juking and jiving as Jeppins was running on in. Not sure if they actually saw the axe running in off to the side.
Middle tower is under attack.
But either way, a blink taunt didn't come out from the axe. And in the end, we had a little bit of aggression, but no kills. So Sleazel has picked up an ultimate orb. Derp. Typical support stuff. Relic has picked up a blink dagger, so which is kind of expected coming out from a Zeus. We've got an Egg Scepter on the Queen of Pain. Just tranquils and typical support stuff. Treads and Urn on the Spirit Breaker, so nothing too unusual there. And then it's just our axe, which has tranquils, blink, and about 2,000 gold. It's going to be more than that after he takes this ancient stack. But maybe going for a blade mail. We'll have to wait and see exactly what he picks up. Thunder God's Wrath coming out there, nuking the axe, but he had more than enough HP to survive there. Okay, he's actually going to be a 4 staff for the axe. That's a valuable item as well for him. It's going to give him that increased mobility to help him position himself just even a little bit better in the team fights, or maybe allow him to jump in with blink, get a good call off, and then 4 staff himself back to safety if need be. Ix Mike will find a target here with the lasso. It will be PQ, and that's going to be one dead Space Cow as he's going to go down. But will Boreal look to re-engage here as KVH and Angry Tessie are hanging out below? But they're going to think better of it and back away. Maybe try to make something happen on Sleazel here as he's walking into them. KVH will land a pounce. Angry Testie's going to open up with the Sonic Wave. Sleazel's going to drop down to about half. The swap will come out from Derp, but Sleazel's just going to run right back in. He's going to go down, so will Derp. And now, Goody was trying to come and get a little bit of damage off, but he's now in trouble. Jeppins misses the taunt there. That was really close to landing. Relic's going to come in with the burst, with the nuke from the lightning bolt up onto the high ground. It is ground targeted, that one, but unfortunately he did miss there. He didn't have vision up on the high ground, I think, as well, so it was kind of just a blind one. The one benefit is that the lightning bolt does actually give him vision to nuke again. But unfortunately, the lightning bolt wasn't on the mark, and that meant that the damage wasn't there. I don't even think if it landed that they would have got the kill on the Jeppins there. But a little bit of action coming out there, and you can see just how quickly these heroes can go down in the team fights. It can go wrong real fast if one team makes a mistake. As there's a lot of burst damage and a lot of kill potential for both these sides, despite the fact that we only have 16 kills in 22 minutes. Which, I mean, that's a little less than a kill a minute, but you know, we've seen slower games before, that's for sure. So it's not going to be a 4 staff for the Skywrath Mage. It's going to be a Yule Scepter for Goody, and that's going to help keep him alive against some of this burst damage. You know, maybe he can use it to dodge a Sonic Wave that's going to be coming out. Could potentially use it to dodge a Finger, but that's a little bit less likely. It's a lot easier to know when a Sonic Wave is going to be coming out. But on the contrary, you can also use it to as a defensive item, not to prevent damage that's about to land on you, but also to prevent the enemy team from even casting that, or even just right-clicking that damage. So you can use it to CC someone on the other team. Who they'll look to use that on, I'm not sure. It's a good interrupt for the charging Spirit Breaker, maybe. I don't know, that might be a little bit of a waste. You can try and just constantly use the Slark as long as he's got his Dark Pact down. So you kind of just look for the Dark Pact and then CC him. That's a possibility. I don't know. I don't know who the target is. But that's something that as a player you definitely get a good sense for in game. And I'm sure Goody's going to know exactly who he's going to try to prioritize with that Yule Scepter. And you know, maybe they'll have to reevaluate that after a team fight, or as this game progresses. Maybe becomes a more threatening target. Maybe they'll actually have to Yule Scepter the Axe as he blinks in and gets a taunt off. You know, that doesn't mean that your heroes are not taunted, but it means that the Axe isn't getting attacked and he's not getting his spin procs. You're going to see Goody go down here. Doesn't have a chance to use his Yule Scepter there. But Ix Mike's going to re-engage as he's going to get a lasso off onto Jeppins, pull him back in. And we're going to see a Rupture come out from Sleazel. That's going to get them the kill as Relic is going to come in with some burst damage. Derp's here as well. It's going to be a full team fight as we're going to lose the Slark, but we're also going to lose the Spirit Breaker. Now Angry Testy, oh, so close to going down. And they're going to try to chase after him, but nice defensive play there from Jeppins as he's coming back on into the fight with a buyback off to the right-hand side. We've got a battle going on here as Derp is about to go down, but he's somehow going to survive, and it's not him that's going to go down. Pizza Dad's going to go down. Looks like Jeppins going to go down for his second death of this fight as well. And it's going to be an ultra kill. On top of that, Relic even spotting out the fact that there's an Observer Ward here with his nukes. A huge team fight coming up for Wheel. We'll bring up the fight recap as soon as we can here, as we've got, well, we saw the buyback come out from the Axe and him come back in and just barely save the life of Angry Testy. Unfortunately, he did still go down, but it's going to be a 6 essentially for 2 trade, and oh my goodness, what a swing that was for Wheel, as that's about 3,600 gold swing in their favor. A lot of XP as well. That's about 5k XP going their way. Huge. And let's actually take a look at our gold graph and see where we stand, as we haven't looked at it yet. And well, I had a feeling that Wheel was ahead a little bit, as they were able to get a couple of just a little bit more value out of those trades early on. But that last team fight exploding them up from about 6k lead to all the way over 10k. As they're going to hover right around the 10k mark for the moment. XP, about 7,000 maybe or so, I'd say that is. So they're in the lead there, but we'll actually switch on over to the hero levels. Let's see if there's any important hero levels coming out anytime soon. Oh yeah, the Queen of Pain about to hit 16. Let's actually check her progression there. She's about a quarter of the way, maybe a third of the way to level 16. So that's an important timing. Besides that, we already had the Zeus hit 16. We already had the Bloodseeker hit 16. Slark hitting 16. It's not the biggest thing in the world. Besides that, we've already got everyone else hitting 11. So I guess the next big timing is probably going to be, well, I guess
Roshan has fallen to the Radiant.
I guess the Skywrath Mage hitting 16 is going to be quite important in terms of the amount of damage that he's going to be able to put out, but also the Lion as well. So those are the two big timings that we're going to have to look out for, but that's going to be quite a ways away.
Dire's middle tower is
So
under
we did
attack.
see Roche go down, and the Aegis get picked up by Sleazel.
Radiant's top
And now with that,
tower is
Wheel
under
will
attack.
look to push down in this mid lane, the tier 2, getting beaten down as well. In the top lane, Boreal's going to look to actually not come back and defend, but put some aggression on their own,
Radiant's
using the
top
Sonic
tower
Wave
is under
to wipe
attack.
out that creep wave. And Wheel will look to TP back. Just Sleazel's the only one TPing back, but that will force the 3 heroes on Boreal to get on out of there, and they will TP away.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Rock's going to TP away as well. As we've got, well, I think Wheel taking control of this game so far, as they've obviously won a few of the team fights. They've won a few of the trades. They've ganked a little bit more efficiently, But on the back of that, they've been able to take a lot more of the towers, as obviously they've got both outside towers in the mid lane, and only just the tier 1s in the bottom and the top. But you compare that to how Boreal's been able to push. They still haven't been able to drop this tier 1 tower. They've got the one in the top lane, but they haven't gotten the one in the bottom lane. So the only tower they've gotten is that one in the top lane. And that's really constricting them in what they're going to be able to do in terms of setting up ganks and just kind of making rotations. And when you look at the effect that that has on the minimap, you have to think that Wheel's got more than half the map in their favor. The river, which is kind of the defining line between the two teams at the start of the game, has effectively shifted towards Boreal's base, and Wheel's just kind of taking over more real estate. And that's going to allow them to farm just a little bit better because they've got access to more creeps, and they have just more real estate, more space to work with.
Dire's top tower.
As we're going to see them drop another tower here on the top as they take a tier 2. Boreal not looking to fight at all as they're making the way for the bottom lane, looking for a trade. But I don't even think they're going to get this tier 1 tower in time before they're going to have to go back and defend, because Wheel's not backing. They're pushing up to the high ground to go after this tier 3 tower. We are going to see a little bit of TP support come in as Pizza Dad's going to blink on in, get the stun off, but he's going to lose all of his health. I was going to say most of his health, but all of his health, as he's going to go down. Angry Test is going to throw out the Sonic Wave. Jeppin's getting nuked down as well. Sleazel will use up the Aegis there, and that's going to have to force Boreal to go back to the fountain, get their HP up, but they've already lost to tier 3. They're going to lose their racks before they're going to be able to re-engage here, so good use of the Aegis there to force Boreal to respond to that aggression coming out from the Bloodseeker. And we do have our first racks of the game going down in the top lane. Ooh, Wheel, they're not backing. They're going to re-engage here as they're going to initiate with a lasso onto the Spirit Breaker. PQ is going to take a fall. Relic's the one with the kill. That's a wicked 6 streak for him. Angry Testy. Caught in the Rupture. Now he's going to get silenced up. He can't move, and now he's going to get bursted down. Oh, he's so helpless there. As the range racks will go down, Relic's going to get stunned up. Derp's there to swap him back to safety. And I think now Wheel will definitely look to back away. They've not only got what they came for. I mean, I think they were just looking at getting the tier 3, but the way things played out, they were able to take the racks as well, get a couple kills on top of that. Huge advantage for them, and we'll take a look at the gold graph in just a second. You can expect that to go even more in their favor, as it's over 15k in their favor, and XP is it's approaching 10k as well. As for our current items, let's bring that up and see exactly what we got on everyone. Surprisingly, we got a buckler coming out from Derp on the Vengeful Spirit. So I guess working towards a mech, but that's going to it's going to be a while before that mech is up, and I'm not really sure the value of it when he's going to pick that up at probably 35 minutes, maybe even 40 minutes into this game, if it lasts that long. It does give them, a little bit of HP against some of the damage coming out from Boreal, but I'm not too sure about that timing. But we are going to see some more action as Sleazel's going to get the kill onto PQ, but we're going to lose IX Mike. But then Sleazel's continuing on his rampage as he dropped Pizza Dad, and now he's going to look to go after KVH. He will try to TP away, but there's the value of that Yule Scepter coming out from Goody. And now KVH, he's silenced, he's going down, gem drops on the ground. And that's just another thing going the way of Wheel, as they're going to have the gem to help them counter ward. Of course, they already have the Zeus with his lightning bolt to give them a little bit of vision to do some counter warding as well, but the gem makes it that much easier. With those 3 heroes down, Wheel will definitely be able to take this tier 2 tower, but what will they be able to do? Roche isn't going to be up for quite some time, so will they look to actually push this tier 3? I don't think so. I think they're probably just going to be satisfied with this tier 2 if they're able to bring it down in time, as the creeps finally make their way up there to disable that backdoor protection. Slark down for 20 seconds. Wheel, it looks like they're a little unsure whether or not they're going to go for this. But we do have IX Mike TPing on in with the Boots of Travel. So it looks like they do want to go for it. IX Mike popping that Firefly coming in from the side. Pizza Dad blinking on in, using basically everything he's got. PQ going to charge in to counter the IX Mike lasso, but unfortunately it didn't counter it well enough as Jeppins took a fall, PQ also taking a fall. And I think this could be it, as good game well played gets called by Boreal. And Wheel's going to take our first match out of Group B. And congratulations to them. They're already on their way to going for a repeat of what they did in the group stage last time around. They finished 3-0 last time, so they moved to 1-0. Boreal, unfortunately, fall a game against, well, maybe the team that's going to take the group, as that's kind of a repeat of what they did last time around. They finished second in the group with 2-1, losing their only game to Rift, which ended up to go 3-0 in the group. So that's going to wrap it up for this game. We do have 2 more games going on tonight, as that's going to feature Wheel, Boreal, and Black Sheep. I'm drawing a blank on which is the next game. That's embarrassing. We'll take a look at that real quick. Oh, it is Wheel versus Black Sheep. I thought it was, I just didn't want to say it and be wrong. But it is going to be Wheel against Black Sheep for the Dota 2 Canada Group B. We've got, like I said, 2 games tonight, 2 more games tonight. So we're going to have that Wheel game and against Black Sheep, and then we're going to have Black Sheep against Boreal to round out the night. And then tomorrow night we're going to have another 3 games. So hopefully you'll stick with us for those 2 games, and hopefully you'll join us tomorrow. If you do miss any of those games, you can find the VODs from everything that I'm casting on my YouTube channel at youtube.com/NizCast. But also be sure to follow me here on Twitch so that you know when I do go live. And also follow the main stream for Dota 2 Canada Cup at twitch.tv/Dota 2 Canada Cup. You can also follow me on Twitter, where I tweet about what I'm doing with the cast and well, what I'm going to be casting, all that stuff. So that's how you can kind of get a hold of me. But also, feel free to hop into the chat, talk to me. Let me know whether you're enjoying the game, who you're cheering for, what's going on, maybe your predictions in the draft, all that stuff, or drop me a comment on YouTube. That's going to wrap it up for this game. I'm going to throw it to a little bit of music as we wait for our next game, which should be starting relatively soon. It's going to start at 8:45, so about 20 minutes out from now. But hopefully you'll stick with us. Maybe I'll go grab a drink and a snack, which is what I'm going to do. And we'll be right into that lobby and get ready for the next game. Thanks for sticking with us.